All right, as promised, we're going to start something new today, and the topic that I picked is the ontology of time. Now, the ontology means what it means for something to exist. So this video that you're watching, what does it mean that we say that this video exists in the world? We can take it as a statement of fact, but once we look at the statement of the predicate exists, there's some connotation there. It exists on YouTube, it exists as ones and zeros on the internet. There needs to be some kind of way of understanding the predicate exists. And so what does it mean that time exists? Well, let's look at different parts of time. We have the past, we have the present, and we have the future. Well, let's ask the question about the past. What does it mean that the past exists? Well, if you think about time, it's kind of interesting because we have regular cycles of days, right? I could stand here, I could walk to the other side of the room and walk back, and you could say that in the past I made that decision to walk back and forth. And if you extrapolate that idea, you could say that for the same thing since I was born, that I have been making decisions, or I have been kind of continuously going through the world through time, and every instant of that time is my past. Now, one question is whether it's even right to extrapolate. Is the past of me walking back and forth in this room the same as the past as me going through my life in different stages of my life? Perhaps as the past becomes less, over many, many years, the existence of something much earlier in the past it has a different mode of existence than what has just happened today. Now, to better answer what it means for something to exist, or the mode of its existence, we can look to David Hume. David Hume says that we can really only know the existence of things through experience. So if we start as a blank slate, we go through our lives, we have certain impressions that happen to us, and those impressions are kind of live in our memory, and for us, those things exist. And Hume says over time, we create copies of those impressions that, say, we had yesterday, and they stick in our memory, and they are the same instance of the existence of the thing that happened yesterday, but they're less forceful. And you can imagine if we take this process over years, we have many memories that are put into our mind and become less and less forceful over time, maybe even so imperceptibly forcible. Perhaps how Hume might answer this question is that the past is those impressions that we remember that happened one day, and they are still reinforced in our mind in some way. Maybe we do similar activities over time, and the idea of that impression becomes reinforced because we keep on doing that. And therefore our past, or at least what we remember of the past, are those instances. Now, if we take the same idea of existence as impressions or experiences in the world, the existence of the present actually makes it pretty simple. The present is now. Whereas the concept of past is something that I can't experience in the real world. There's no such thing as past that I am able to experience and gain impressions from and therefore understand. The present might actually be something that we can experience. The present is now and now and now. And some people say, I like this phrase, it's always the present. So we can already tell that the idea of past and the idea of present have completely different modes of existence. So let's take a look at the future. Well, the future is something that is not yet. It might consist of possibilities, where I understand myself in a certain place in the world with certain skills and certain ways of engaging with the world, such that I can see myself achieving certain things or doing certain things in the future. But unlike the present, I don't experience those possibilities. They might emerge in my mind, but they aren't things that I experience in the real world, so I can't really know them as material existence. In a sense, the future is a lot like the past, where the past is memories that are in our mind that we can kind of recover through past experiences that we had. They are in the form of memories. However, future is also in our head, not in the material world, or not something that we experience, not in the form of memories, but in the form of possibilities. So the next question might be, how do we derive those possibilities? With memories, we derive those from experienced things in the world, impressions, like we said with David Hume, and over time, they become less lively. Some get reinforced in the mind. But possibilities, on the other hand, aren't necessarily impressed upon us in the world. Instead, there are hints that happen in the world that allow us to believe that because this happened, something else is going to happen in the future. In a way, a possibility can be seen as a kind of a causal process where the thing that happened today might be able to cause something else in the future. And if that's possible, then it becomes, in a way, an existential reality for me, or at least one of many different possible realities. And if we take Kant's idea that the causal process, or our ability to infer X causes Y, is something that is a part of reason, it is a priori synthetic law that that lets us understand the world in a certain way, then what we can say is that the future, or our ability of the future, which is built on possibilities, and the possibilities are built on this this law of us, or this law that exists merely because we are able to be in the world the way we are with our reason. Now that's a lot to unpack. Perhaps tomorrow we can go over some of those things more in detail, but I think there's something there. So just to recap, the past exists through memories, which are impressions that we have in the present that become less lively over time, that are stored as memories. The present exists as the now, or our ability to receive impressions and have experiences in the world always now. And the future is built on possibilities, where possibilities are built on our ability to reason or use the causal process, where something is able to cause something else, where we take certain things that are happening to us in real time and extrapolate that through the causal process to understand what our possible realities are in the future.